Imagine being trapped in a nightmare you can't wake up from. A world where pain isn't an accident, but an art form. Throughout history, humanity's darkest minds have invented punishments so brutal, so twisted, that they make horror movies look like rom-coms. Today, we're diving deep into some of the most nightmarish torture methods ever devised, each more horrifying than the last. From rats turned into living weapons, to the slow psychological collapse of white torture. Stay with us until the end, because the most chilling methods aren't just relics of the past. Some of them are still happening today. Number 5. Rat torture. How do you turn one of nature's most hated creatures into a tool of unspeakable torment? The first use of rat torture came from Elizabethan England. Catholic chroniclers claimed that prisoners in the Tower of London, held in damp, low cells near the River Thames, were attacked by packs of rats as the tide rolled in. With nowhere else to run, the rodents flooded into the cells and would attack the prisoners. But rats don't usually attack humans, not without reason. So was it real? Maybe not. But the story lit a spark in some already demented minds, and soon it became reality. During the 16th century Dutch revolt, a horrifying innovation emerged. Captors would place a metal bowl full of live rats on a prisoner's bare stomach or chest. Then they'd heat the bowl with burning coals. The rats, trapped and terrified, did what nature programmed them to do. They dug. Desperate to escape the rising heat, the rodents would claw and bite through flesh, muscle, and even bone. The victim had no way to stop them. There were no exits, only pain, panic, and a slow descent into madness. This wasn't widespread, after all. It required live animals and nerves of steel from the torturer. But the sheer psychological terror made it irresistible for authoritarian regimes. In the 20th century, South American dictators revived the method. In Argentina, reports emerged of a device called the retroscope, an apparatus designed to insert rats into a victim's body cavity. There, the animal would be sealed in and left to fight its way out. It's a grotesque legacy, where humanity used the smallest of animals to unlock the very darkest corners of cruelty. Number 4. Trial by ordeal. You've been accused of a crime. There's no evidence, no jury, just one terrifying question. Can you survive a test? Welcome to the ancient world of trial by ordeal, where your innocence was measured by pain, and your fate rested in the hands of God, or whatever force your society feared most. One of the earliest versions was trial by combat. Think it's barbaric? It was actually considered very fair. 2 people fought, and the one left standing was declared innocent. In theory, divine justice would protect the righteous. In reality, brute strength decided guilt. But combat faded, and other, far more one-sided ordeals took its place. There was trial by fire. Walk barefoot across scorching coals. Or worse, hold a glowing hot piece of iron. Success didn't mean surviving the ordeal. It meant walking away without burns. If you were hurt, clearly you were guilty. Needless to say, few walked away unharmed. But the darkest twist to trial by ordeal came during the witch hunts. When a woman was accused of witchcraft, a crime often based on rumor or superstition, her trial was simple. She'd be bound and tossed into a river. If she drowned, she was innocent. If she floated, it was proof she used witchcraft to escape death, and she'd be executed. A deadly paradox. Survive and you die for it. Die and you're declared pure, too late to matter. This wasn't justice. It was fear dressed as ritual, a performance that killed both body and reason. Number 3. The breaking wheel. In medieval Europe, executions were public spectacles, designed not just to punish, but to entertain, warn, and terrify. And among them all, one device stood out as the most gruesome. The breaking wheel, also known as the Catherine wheel. It was saved for the worst of criminals, murderers, traitors, and heretics. And it didn't just kill, it destroyed. The condemned was first tied down in a public square, limbs stretched out, vulnerable. Then came the massive wooden wheel, studded with iron and wide enough to span a body. Executioners began with precision. They dropped the wheel onto the prisoner's limbs, breaking bones one at a time. Arms, legs, ribs. The crowd flinched, gasped, and sometimes cheered. Pain wasn't the side effect, it was the whole point. In some versions, death came quickly, via a final blow to the chest or neck, but often that was denied. Instead, the shattered body was interlaced between the wheel's spokes, contorted into impossible shapes, and hoisted into the air. Suspended on a pole, the prisoner was left to die slowly, sometimes over days. Exposure, dehydration, or blood loss would eventually claim them. Insects and birds often arrived before death did. It resembled crucifixion in its cruelty, and like that ancient punishment, it came with a twisted loophole. If the victim fell from the wheel and lived, they were seen as divinely spared and sometimes pardoned. But for most, there was no miracle. Only agony spun high above the crowd, a warning that the law didn't just punish. It made sure you felt every second of it. Number 2. Cruelty. The ancient Romans were pioneers of law and order, but when it came to punishing those who betrayed their own blood, especially patricide, the murder of one's father, they turned to something almost mythological in its horror, cruelty, or punishment of the sack. This wasn't just about death, it was about sending a message. The sentence began with a brutal public flogging, a ritual humiliation meant to strip the convict of dignity. Then came the sack. The condemned's head would be covered, and he'd be sewn into a leather sack, still alive. But he wouldn't be alone in there. Sharing that confined, airless space would be a rooster, a dog, a snake, and sometimes a monkey. Each animal was carefully chosen. The snake brought venom and primal terror. The rooster, seemingly harmless, could inflict real damage in panic with its claws and beak. The dog? Loyal no more, driven to rage by fear. And the monkey, capable of both intelligence and unpredictability, made the chaos complete. Once sealed inside, the sack was thrown into the nearest river. The animals, frenzied and suffocating, would tear into each other and their human cellmate as they all drowned together in a swirling nightmare of water, teeth, claws, and panic. This punishment wasn't just about justice. It was symbolic, being cast into the depths with chaos incarnate, as if nature itself was rejecting the offender. Though a Roman invention, cruelty saw a brutal revival in medieval Germany. The cast of animals was reduced, typically a cat and a dog, but the message remained crystal clear. Some crimes were so unnatural, they deserved a death no natural creature could comprehend. Number 1. White torture. What if you were locked in a room so empty, so stripped of sensation, that even your mind began to disintegrate? That's the essence of white torture. A form of deep psychological torment designed to erase a person, but without physically touching them. It starts with the room. No color. The walls, floor, ceiling, all a sterile, blinding white. The prisoner's clothes. White. The food. White. Rice. Plain porridge. Nothing with flavor or form. Even the guards are dressed in white, and they never speak. Light floods the cell constantly. No shadows, no relief, just searing fluorescence. The silence is absolute. The walls are soundproofed so thoroughly that not even your own footsteps return to you. Over days, weeks, or months, something begins to happen. You lose your grip on time, then identity. Without color, sound, human interaction, or even the echo of your own voice, your mind starts feeding on itself. Victims have reported terrible hallucinations. Some forget the faces of their loved ones. Others become totally unable to sleep, even after release, plagued by the memory of the blinding white void. Used on political prisoners in Iran, on dissidents in Venezuela, and allegedly on detainees in Guantanamo Bay. This isn't just solitary confinement, it's annihilation by silence and light. What makes it so terrifying? There's no blood, no bruises, just a silent unraveling of the human soul, quite possibly the worst torture of all. The scariest part about these tortures isn't just the cruelty. They show how far humans will go when fear, power, and hatred rule the day. If you've enjoyed watching this video and would like more of the same, please like and subscribe to our channel, The Hushed Unease.